Today I will introduce you to a new topic which is passive filters. Okay, now why do we call it passive is we are not going to use any active elements like BJT or MOSFETs or op amps and things like that. We are going to implement filters by using pure resistance, inductance and capacitance. So these are known as passive filters. Okay. Filters means we are going to filter out the required frequencies. If the input has several frequencies, we are just going to select either a set of low frequencies or a set of high frequencies, or say a frequencies in between F1 and F2. So that is why this term filter comes. So as we move ahead with these slides, the why we call them filter will be very clear. Okay, so the first type of filter which we are going to learn is passive high pass filters. Okay, as the name implies, high pass means it is going to allow high frequencies to pass through, and it is going to block the low frequencies. Okay, so if you see here, it can be implemented in two ways, either using a resistance and an inductor, or a capacitance and a resistance. Like if you see the top figure, we have a resistance which comes in series and an inductor which comes in parallel. So at low frequencies, what would happen? L is going to be act like a short circuit, right? So the impedance offered by the inductance is L omega. So so that is why this is going to act like a short circuit. So if this is a short circuit, obviously voltage division rule, we know that. So if this is going to be a short circuit, there is not going to be any output here. But as the frequency increases at high frequencies, this is going to be much higher than the value of R. So hence the signal whatever is being applied here, that will be seen at the output. Okay, so this is how a high pass filter can be implemented by a simple resistance and an inductor. Same thing can be implemented, the same function can be implemented using an capacitor and a resistance. In this case, we need to swap the positions of the resistance and the capacitor. So at low frequencies, the capacitor is going to block, right, because the impedance is 1 by C omega. Here omega comes in the denominator, so it is going to offer a high impedance for low frequencies, so the signal cannot pass through. Whereas at high frequencies, this capacitance is impedance will come to very low values, because it is 1 by C omega, and hence the high frequencies will pass through this without any attenuation. So this is how the high pass filters can be implemented using an RL circuit or an RC circuit. So we'll see the derivation aspect also. With that, we will be able to infer a lot of important things. Okay, so this is an RC circuit. So if you see, V out is V in into R minus J XC, right? So because this is R, this is XC, so a potential divider rule we have used. So minus J XC, where XC is nothing but 1 by C omega, right? So so this is the potential divider rule which we have used. Okay, now let's define one variable which is known as critical or cutoff frequency. Okay, why this particular term cutoff frequency, that also I will discuss shortly. So that is omega 0 is equal to 1 by RC. Okay, so this is the new term which we have introduced. So coming back to the now, what is the gain? Gain is V out divided by V in. Okay, V out divided by V in, which will be R divided by, so here if you see, you have taken a V into the denominator, R divided by R minus J XC. Now dividing it by R, so you have 1 minus J into 1 by RC omega, and 1 by RC we have defined a new variable omega 0, so omega 0 cutoff frequency. So it is 1 minus 1 divided by 1 minus J omega 0 by omega. Okay, now writing this thing in polar form, I can write the magnitude will be 1 divided by root of 1 plus omega 0 by omega, and the angle will be written as tan inverse omega 0 by omega, right? This is x by y. since it is negative in the denominator, when it goes into the numerator it becomes positive. So this is going to be the gain equation, okay, in the polar form. So if you try to plot this, okay, and now if you try to plot this, so this is the gain, right? So we also have so if you try to plot this, if you it will come this way, like the low frequencies, and it will get attenuated, and high frequencies you will have and it will allow the high frequencies to pass through. That we will see that again further here, right? So before seeing this plot, most of the in electronic circuits and electrical circuits, we define the gain in terms of dB. Okay, what is dB is 10 log the gain. Okay, 10 log gain. Okay, so if this is the gain, 10 log whatever we put the gain here, whatever we get, that we will be called that much dB of gain. Okay, and also the power gain, okay, it will be defined as 20 log the gain. Okay, why 20 is because it is V square, right? So if you write power is always V square by R, so if you assume R to be 1, so AV square it will be, so it will come, the power will always be AV square. So since it is log, that 2 can come here, so it will become 20. So voltage gain will be defined as 10 log AV, and power gain will be defined as 20 log AV, right? So generally when we do the plots, we do the power plot. Okay, what is the power given here, what is the power coming out, okay, and in dBs, okay, and that dB we are going to use this formula. Okay, and also there is something known as half power gain. That means if the power is half, okay, initially if you assume the power is the voltage gain is 1, and now from 1 it has come down to 0.5. if the voltage gain has come to 0.5, okay, so if I put it as 0.5 here, okay, I'll get as minus 3 dB. That means minus 3 dB means that the power has come down to half. Okay, so I think I made an error here. This will be 20 log 0.5. So minus 3 dB essentially, okay, I'll correct this. Minus 3 dB essentially means it is an power is exactly half from here to here. If say this is 0 dB, if I come here, if I say it is minus 3 dB, that means the power is half available. So if power is half, obviously the voltage gain corresponding to that will be 1 by root 2. Okay, is it clear, Aditya, or I can repeat this, Gagan?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Okay, so a voltage gain essentially is 10 log AV, right, in dBs. Power gain is 20 log AV, where AV stands for V out divided by V in. Okay, half power gain means minus 3 dB point. Okay, that means when the power is reduced to half, it will become minus 3 dB. Okay, and the corresponding voltage gain, okay, for half dB will be because power is V square, right? It is proportional to V square. So that means the amplitude of will have to come to 1 by root 2. Okay, for the power to reduce to half. So that is voltage gain will be 1 by root 2 at half power point, and the power will be 1 by 2. Okay, now if you take few conditions, if you say omega is much greater than omega 0 in this gain equation. Now we are going to take in this gain equation, we are assuming omega to be much greater than omega 0. That means at very high frequency what is happening, the omega is in the denominator, it is much higher, so I can neglect this form, so it will become 1 divided by 1. That means voltage gain is 1. That means whatever I am applying here, this voltage, that will be available at the output. So this will be the voltage gain will be 1. Okay, and what is 20 log 1 will be 0. So that is why this plot here it is in dBs. So 0 dB means the voltage gain is 1. Okay, that means whatever is being applied here, that is available at the output. So at high frequencies, okay, you will find this is straight at 0 dB. Is this aspect clear? These three conditions, if you understand, rest of the things will become pretty easy for you to understand. Gagan, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I take one more condition where omega is equal to omega 0. Okay. At high frequencies, the gain is 1. Whatever we are applying the signal here is available out here. What happens when omega is equal to omega 0? Okay. When omega is equal to omega 0, and how did we define omega? Omega 0 is 1 by RC. So that is one particular frequency, right? Depending on the values of R and C. Now if I put omega is equal to omega 0, this will become 1. If this becomes 1, okay, 1 plus 1 will be 2, so 1 by root 2, that means the magnitude will become 1 by root 2, and hence the power will become a half. Okay, so that corresponds to the 3 dB point. Okay, so at the, that is why this is known as the cutoff frequency. Cutoff frequency means at that frequency for which the power becomes half. Okay, so this is the cutoff frequency out here. Here the power comes to be comes at to half of that what was here. In this particular case, here it is 0 dB, so it will be minus 3 dB here. So at the cutoff frequency, the power will become minus 3 dB. Okay, that's why the curve starts falling down. It comes to minus 3 dB at cutoff frequency. Okay, after that, if you see here, for omega, much less, which is lesser than omega 0, this curve starts falling down. It will keep going down. Okay, because now here omega is slowly decreasing, so this factor will keep increasing. So the denominator, the entire denominator is increasing, so the gain will fall. So the gain will start falling down. And what is going to be the slope of this? This slope is going to be 20 dB per decade. Okay, what is 20 dB per decade? That means for 1 decade of frequency, this gain will fall by 20 dB. Now what is 1 decade? Suppose this is 1 kilohertz. If I come to 100 kilohertz, okay, there will be 20 dB attenuation. Okay, if it is minus 3 dB here, suppose it is minus 3 dB here for 1 kilohertz, for 100 kilohertz it will be minus 23, and for 10 kilohertz, that is one more decade we have come down from minus 23 and another minus 20, it will become minus 43 dB. Okay, is it understood what is 20 dB per decade? Okay, Aditya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So this is known as the slope. Okay, slope at which the gain attenuates. Okay, so these are the three conditions. Now if I talk about the phase angles here, right, at omega is equal to at very high frequencies. Okay, so this is going to be 1 divided by 1, right? This is going to be negligible, so it is tan inverse omega by omega, so that will come out to be infinity. At omega is going to be very large, infinity, so that is going to be 90 degrees. Okay, here, right? Similarly, for the resonant frequency, where omega 0 is equal to omega, so this becomes tan inverse 1, okay, which is 45. So this is 45, and for omega is equal to omega is for very less values of omegas, close to 0, say for close to 0, this is going to be tan inverse infinity. So this is going to be 90 out here, right? So this is going to for large values of omega, the tan inverse, it is going to be tan inverse 0, so it is going, the phase is 0. For omega is equal to omega 0, tan inverse 1, so 45. For omega is equal to 0, it is infinity, so the phase angle will be 90 degree. Okay, what is this phase angle? That is the voltage available here with respect to this voltage. Okay, we are this is the phase angle of the output voltage with respect to the input voltage. Is it clear how this phase angle has been drawn and how this curve has been drawn? Yeah, Gagan? Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now the same circuit, same functionality can be obtained by using an inductor and an resistor. Only thing is the places of the inductor and resistance have been swapped here. So if I write the voltage equation out here, V0 will be ZR divided by ZR plus ZL. Again, ZL can be written as JL omega, and then I divide by R. So I write J omega and L by R. Here I am going to define omega 0 as L by R divided by L. Okay. In the other case, in the capacitance case, I had defined it by divided by 1 by RC was omega 0. Here it is slightly different. This is R divided by L. It is not 1 by RL. Okay, that is the difference. It is R divided by L, omega 0. So if I define it in this manner, okay, omega 0 is equal to, I come to the same equation. Okay, so the same equation. So again it will work just like an high pass filter, which we just discussed in the previous slide. Okay, the entire response will be same, only that the omega 0 frequency will now be defined by this equation. Okay, rest of the things remains same. Okay, so this is how we can implement an high pass filter with RL circuit. Okay, now if we take an simple example out here, calculate the cutoff frequency for an RC high pass filter. Okay, if you have to find out on the cutoff frequency. Now you will find in this particular case, if you are going to add a load resistance like this, okay, so it will be actually a parallel combination of these two resistances, right? So we can't just because this is also going to affect the circuit out here, right? So we have to first find out what is the R equivalent. So we taken a parallel of these two, which you will get as 69.3 ohms, and then cutoff frequency will be given by 1 by 2 pi RC, which will get 230 hertz. So if I have to draw an P out divided by P in, so at 230 hertz it will be 50% power out here, right? And at high frequency it will be the power will be P out divided by Pn will be 1, and at low frequency it will fall towards 0, and at 230 it will be 50%. Okay, so this is how an RC high pass filter would look like. Now the same thing we can also implement, I said, with the help of an resistance and an inductor. In this case, since the load is not specified, so we will assume it is an high impedance load, and then so we can use R divided by L. Omega C is equal to R divided by L, or 2 pi. Right, and if you have to compute the frequency, then you have to instead of omega, if you have to compute FC, then we put a 2 pi factor also in the denominator, so you get an 3.338 hertz. Okay, so that is how we compute the center cutoff frequency or the resonant frequency. Okay. Now same derivation which we did, we can do it here also. This is known as a second order high pass filters, where two sets of filters have been cascaded in series. Okay, this is one first stage, this is the second stage. Okay, so if you try to find out what is the voltage here, and then again multiply it with one more this thing, so you will end up getting the center frequency like this. And in case if we have these values of R and C same for the two stages, okay, then FC is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC we will write. Okay, because this root, it will become R square C square, so you will get the same thing. Okay, now what is the great advantage, since the cutoff frequency is same, right? If you use RC here, RC here, the cutoff frequency is the same, then why do we have to do such higher order filters when we are putting the same thing here? So you are using double number of components. So what is the gain in this case? Okay, because the cutoff frequency is same, right? So what is the gain? Okay, the advantage out here is, if we have a single stage amplifier, so the frequency roll off will be minus 20 dB per decade, whereas if I have an 2 stage, then I will have a roll off minus 40 dB per decade. Okay. What is how is this advantageous? Because it gives me proper selectivity, right? If I have to select, I have to make a filter which will allow certain frequencies above a certain value to pass through, and then reject the frequencies which is below that. So a higher roll off like this will be better. Okay. So if I take, say, some frequency which is here, that also will pass with certain attenuation, right? For a second order filter, it will get attenuated much better than a first order filter. So a higher the roll off is better is the selectivity. Okay. So that is why. So that is the trade-off. So depending on my application, I can have n number of cascades. Okay. Not only 2, I can have 3, 4, 5, 6 depending on the application. So if I have more number of, so this will become, instead of 40 dB, it can become 60 dB, then 80 dB, minus 100 dB per decade. If I do like that, then I will get an kind of an ideal filter characteristics, where just below the required frequency it will cut off all the unwanted frequencies, and above the frequency it will just allow the signals to pass. Okay. So for that, the trade-off is you will require large number of stages. Okay. So that is known as second order filters. There are other ways also, other topologies also, these things. So I've just flashed it, so that the back of the mind, you should not get restricted yourself to these kind of topologies. There are other topologies also available. Each one has got its own advantages and disadvantages, but for this particular course we will not get into details of these topologies. Okay. Now similarly, we can have low pass filters also. Okay. Low pass filters is, it will allow the low frequencies to pass through. So in this case, now the resistance is here and the capacitance is in parallel to the load. So what happens is, at high frequencies, this is going to act like a short circuit, so you won't get any output voltage. Similarly, for low frequencies, this is an open circuit, so you will have the signal being coming out without any attenuation. Similarly, when we have an L and R in this configuration, at low frequencies, okay, L omega is going to be very low, so it will just not offer any impedance, and the signals will be available at the output. At high frequency, L omega becomes large, so the signal will get attenuated, it will get dropped across the L omega, there will be no output. So this is known as low pass filters. Okay. Earlier we saw high pass filters. When we say low pass filters, it is going to pass the low frequencies through this circuit. Okay. So again, we do an similar kind of an analysis, where V out by V in is equal to, here we are taking the output across the capacitor, so this J minus J omega C. So we write that and divide by R. Now, so we again land up with a similar equation out here, and omega 0 is equal to 1 by RC, like in the previous case. So only difference, if you notice here, is it was omega 0 divided by omega here. In this case, it is omega divided by omega 0. Okay, for the low pass filter. For the high pass filter, it was omega 0 divided by omega. For the low pass filter, it is omega divided by omega 0. Right. So if I write in the polar form, it will become like this. So now once it's written in the polar form, okay, let's see what happens. For omega is equal to 0, it will become 1. So this term vanishes, so it will become 1 divided by 1. So the gain is 1. So for low frequencies, the gain is 1, right? And for omega is equal to omega 0, this will become 1 by root 2. So at cutoff frequency, it will be 3 dB. Okay, so 3 dB, and after that it will fall with minus 20 dB per decade. Okay. The phase angle also, for omega is equal to low values, say for omega is equal to 0, right? Omega is equal to 0, so it is an tan inverse 0. So the phase angle is 0 out here, and for omega is equal to infinity, there is a minus sign available here, so it will be minus 90 out here. and for omega is equal to omega 0, it will be -1, so it will be a -45. Okay, for the cutoff frequency here. If you see here, it will be a -45 here. So this curve has now got an like it is 0 for low frequencies, and then it goes at 20 dB per decade. Okay, so that is the change with respect to the high pass filters. This is again the same thing can be done using an inductor and a resistor. Everything remains same. Okay, only thing is the formula for omega 0 is L by R, and so in this case, in this particular case, so the cutoff frequency, the way we compute the cutoff frequency, the formula for the cutoff frequency for high pass and low pass, they remain the same. Okay, it is R by L and 1 by RC. Okay, for the high pass frequency, here you have omega 0 divided by omega, and for the low pass it is omega divided by omega 0. So these gain and phase angle equations get inverted, and also for the low pass filter you have a negative coming here. So these are the differences with respect to high pass filter. Okay, similarly, like we did, we can also have a second order low pass filters where you can have one RC, right? You can have also LR also two filters cascaded to obtain the second order filters again, right? And then if these values are same, the center frequency will be 1 by 2 pi RC, like in the previous case. Here also again, if you have a second order low pass filter, so you will find it will fall more rapidly. So if you have the first one is 20 dB per decade, and for a second order it will be 40 dB per decade. Okay, so it will be much better. The second order will give much better attenuation and selectivity. Okay, so that is what second order filter. Now you could also have something known as a band pass filter. Okay, what is band pass filter? See, this is an what is this? Okay, one filter, low pass filter, cascaded with this is an high pass filter, and then this is cascaded with a low pass filter, right? So you have one a low pass filter and a high pass filter, okay, which are connected in series here, right? So what happens? So see, one is going to the one set of an RC is going to attenuate the high signals, and the other RC is going to attenuate the low signals. So you will get an response like this. Okay, so this is known as the pass band, this is known as the stop bands. Okay, so only some frequencies which will be, so one of these filter, the low pass filter will define will define this, and the high pass filter will define this, because high pass filter means it is going to allow all the high frequencies, so it is not going to allow the low frequencies. So this will be defined by the high pass filter, and this point will be defined by the low pass filter, right? So you can compute high pass filter and low pass filter frequencies from these filter R1 C1 R2 C2, they are different, right? So you can compute, they are not the same, they cannot be the same, right? They have to be different, so that these two frequencies, we get these two different frequencies. So bandwidth will be FH divided minus FL. So this is known as the bandwidth. Okay, and the resonant frequency here is defined as F square R is F upper into F lower, that is FH into FL, that is known as the resonant frequency, that is the center frequency. Okay, that is root of F upper into F lower. Okay, so that is known as the center frequency. Okay, so this is known as band pass filter, right? And then there is something, so this is got a fairly wide band. This is a narrow band filter. Okay, so how to get a narrow band filter is just by adjusting the values of RC to appropriate values. So this becomes a narrow band frequency, right? So there is something known as a quality factor of these filters. So the quality factors is defined by F0 divided by bandwidth. Okay, so F0 is the center frequency, BW is the bandwidth. Okay, so you need to remember this formula, these formulas. Okay, because there will be numericals based on these. So this is known as the quality factor of an band pass filter, right? So so this is one way. This is band pass filter, which is a practical band pass filter. This also, okay, you can implement a band pass filter in this configuration also. So you have a resistance and you have an inductor here and a capacitor which is connected in parallel. Okay, now you will find this 2.5 ohms because inductors, generally all the practical inductors will have a small resistance in series. Okay, so that is the reason a resistance is shown here. Now what happens at low frequencies? Okay, at low frequencies this inductor will act like a short circuit, so they will get attenuated. At high frequencies this capacitor is going to act like an short circuit. Okay, at low frequencies this inductor is going to short, at high frequencies this capacitor is going to short, and the mid frequencies will pass through this circuit. Okay, so that is why this is also known as band pass filters. Okay, so the what is that center frequency will be defined by f0 is equal to 1 by 2 pi root LC. Okay, so this is going to be the center frequency. So if I go back here, this center frequency, okay, this particular circuit is going to this is going to be the frequency response. It is low frequencies is going to get attenuated and high frequencies are also going to be get attenuated. Okay, high frequencies because this capacitor is going to short the output, and low frequencies because this inductor is going to short the output, and this is going to be the center frequency, right? This is going to be the center frequency. That center frequency will be given by this equation, f0 is equal to 1 by 2 pi root LC. So this is the center frequency, right? And in this band pass region, what will be the gain? Okay, it will not be gain will not be 1 here. Okay, in this particular case, okay, because the gain will be given by this formula. Okay, so we need to find what is the dynamic resistance. So dynamic resistance RD is L divided by RLC. L is this, RL is this, and C is this. So you get an 400 ohms. So you will 8.2 4K here. So this will act like a potential divider. So this is the output voltage available in the band pass region. Okay, is it understood, Aditya?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this particular circuit is going to act like an band pass filter where only a certain amount of frequencies will pass through with good gain. The low pass signals are going to be attenuated and the high pass signals are also going to be attenuated. The low pass signals are going to be attenuated because of the inductor, and the high pass high frequency signals are going to be get attenuated because of this capacitance in parallel. In between, the signal is not going to be I will not say it is not going to be attenuated. In between there will be a good response available in the output, where the amplitude will be significantly larger than in the stop band. Okay, so what will be that amplitude? If I have to compute that amplitude, okay, I need to first find out RD. And how do I compute RD? It is L divided by RLC. RL is this, the inductor resistance, L is the inductor value, and C is the capacitance value. So I get 400 ohms. So in the pass band, this circuit will become like this. Okay, 8.2 divided by 4K. This is in the pass band region. So V out will be V in into 4 divided by 4 plus 8.2K. Okay, so this equivalent circuit is applicable only in the pass band region. Okay, so this is how a band pass filter is designed. Okay, so if I take an example out here, this is an these values are given here. So to compute f0, I write 2 pi root LC. So I substitute these values, I get this center frequency. Now to find out the dynamic resistance, I put L, RL and C, so I get the dynamic resistance. Okay, so now the quality factor is also defined by L divided by RL. So you get the quality factor as 40. And bandwidth is f0 divided by Q. So these formulas, these are some of the formulas which you need to remember for your examination purpose. I'll put one or of these in the tutorials also, but these are some of the very basic formulas which you need to remember. Okay. This also acts like an band pass filter. Okay, this particular circuit. So there are several ways in band pass circuit. So you don't have to remember this particular circuit. Now I have just put in so that you don't get fixated with one particular idea. I have just put this slide. So if you write these equations and try to analyze this, so this also. So there are several ways a band pass filter can be realized. Okay, so I have just this is not going to be part of your syllabus. I have just put this so just to give you a hint that there are several ways and band pass filters can be. So we'll just focus on this particular design and the designs which were discussed earlier. Okay. I can have a band reject filter also. Now when I say a band reject filter, it means that a particular set of frequencies will be rejected and it will allow the all other frequencies to pass through. Okay, so it is just an inversion of the band pass filters. Okay, now in the band pass filters, okay, it is an high pass filter and a low pass filter, right? So this is a low pass filter. For high frequencies this is going to get attenuated, and this is an a high pass filter where high frequencies is going to low frequencies is going to be blocked by here. So this was the FL. FL was decided. This is the FL of the band pass filter. Okay, but FL is decided by the high pass filter. Okay, so that it attenuates the low frequencies. So FL was decided by the high pass filter, and FH was decided by the low pass filter. So it is going to attenuate the high frequency low pass filter. Now if I design in such a manner that this low pass filter frequency lies here and the high pass frequency lies here, then this we will get this response. That means if the high pass filter frequency is this, that means above these frequencies it is going to pass. Okay, whereas low pass frequency filter is this, that means it is going to pass only the frequencies which are here, right? So this gets so you get an dip out here. Is it understood how this dip has got? So we have to ensure that the omega 1 and omega 2, okay, the high pass filter, okay, has to this will be the high pass cutoff frequency. Okay, for all frequencies above this this will pass, and the low pass filter, this has to be, so all frequencies. So if we swap these in this design, the values of HL, so you will get a band reject filter. Okay, again rest of the things remain. This also this is just you don't have to remember this circuit. So in this way also you can realize a band reject filter. Okay, so with that we come to an end of this class, but generally in practical circuits we don't use passive filters, but we use active filters. Again the philosophy is same. You have an active element in between which is known as an op amp. Okay, so this we will learn in our next course, which is an analog IC design, in which we will get the desired waveform. So till now we were speaking only in terms of frequency. Okay, how these filters will either reject certain amount of frequencies and allow certain band of frequencies to pass through, but we didn't speak in terms of when we given step input and how would be the response in the time domain. Okay, so so to improve the time domain response, generally we have active elements in between, and then we have a lot of advanced filters like Butterworth filter and all, so that we will learn in the next semester. Okay, for this particular course you need to know these few things. One is passive high pass filters, both with R and C, R and L, then how the second order function looks like. Okay, this you need not know or time being. Okay, low pass filters, you should know these things, second order low pass filters, and the band pass filters. Okay, how to compute the upper frequency and the lower frequency. We'll take on some problems, and this particular circuit also, this is also an important thing which you need to know. Okay, so band reject also you need to know how this functions. Okay, so once we do some tutorials, it will be further clear. Okay, thanks a lot. This all for today.